Today on Carolina Week, a change in leadership for the men's basketball program. What unfolded and what comes next?
If you look to the future, technology is going to play a major role.
Why the new provost thinks an engineering school at Carolina is a must.
Since I have to drive about 30 minutes to campus every day, I'm definitely spending a lot more money.
And what students are doing to cope with high gas prices.
From the UNC Hussman School of Journalism and Media, connecting Carolina's campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Welcome to Carolina Week. I'm Champ Lyerly.
And I'm Madeline Amati. We have major developments in sports. Hubert Davis now out as UNC men's basketball head coach. But we will get to that in just a bit. First, another breaking news story.
This just in. A judge has ruled that the man accused of a deadly shooting on campus 3 years ago, Tylee Shi, is mentally competent to stand trial. We're talking about the shooting that not only claimed the life of a UNC professor, Zijin Yen, but also created campus-wide fear and confusion as many stayed on lockdown for hours that tragic day.
Our reporters talked to Orange County District Attorney Jeff Neiman. He tells us defense attorneys have asked for another mental health evaluation. Shay's next court date has still not been confirmed. We will keep you updated on the next development in the case. For now, let's get back to the talk of the town. UNC's head men's basketball coach Hubert Davis has been let go, according to a statement he released on Instagram. This move comes after Carolina lost in the first round of March Madness. We have team coverage this morning, covering all angles of the moment. Our Kate McCullough is live at the Dean Dome covering the development for the Tar Heels. Kate, it didn't feel like Davis was on the hot seat until just days ago. What changed?
Well, Madeline, Carolina lost to VCU in the NCAA tournament. The Tar Heels blew a 19-point lead in the second half, falling on the wrong side of an upset. That changed things. Davis confirmed the news himself last night on Instagram in a statement where he said, in part, quote, "My desire was to continue to coach here. This opportunity has truly been such a blessing." Now, Bubba Cunningham, the athletic director who initially hired Davis, is now the one recommending to let him go. Cunningham said in a statement, in part, quote, "We must move forward in a way that allows our team to compete more consistently at an elite level." And Davis, a former UNC basketball player who was an assistant coach under Roy Williams for 9 years, was promoted to head coach in 2021. And in December 2024, Davis's contract was renewed until 2030. This was made in an agreement with the university where his base salary more than tripled as part of the deal. The university did release a statement saying they would honor the terms of Davis's contract, which means Davis will be getting over $5 million in a buyout. Davis also said in his statement, in part, quote, "My goal is to coach again in the very near future." So we won't see Davis on this court, but maybe on another one soon.
Thank you, Kate. This major move will require university leaders to find a new head coach, and we are continuing to track developments.
Now, the UNC Board of Trustees is meeting right now. Kate Chapman is live outside the meeting. Kate, what all are we learning about next steps for Carolina basketball?
Yeah, Champ, they just finished closed session right behind me, and I had the chance to speak with media relations. They said that the process for hiring a new coach varies, but that in the past few hires, the board has played a much larger role. Chancellor Lee Roberts also gave a statement prior to the meeting starting, expressing his gratitude for Coach Davis over the past few years. Take a listen.
Hubert and Leslie Davis are two of the finest people on the planet. They met here at Carolina. They love Carolina. Carolina will always love them. We can't thank them enough for everything they have done for our legendary basketball program and our incomparable university.
Now, another major topic at this meeting has been Carolina North. The director of real estate development for Carolina North gave an update on the project. She said that the stakeholder advisory committee is almost ready to be announced soon. She also said the developer who will handle housing will be announced in the late fall.
And so we're just having a little bit of technical difficulties there, but it says that Carolina North, Kate was able to find out that we're going to get more information on that coming forward, and so hopefully we'll know more about that in Chapel Hill.
That's right. And Provost Magnus Egerstedt is spending his first 90 days in the pit, on the quad, and even at the rec center with students. He's brand new this year, and he sat down with our reporter, Kate McCullough, to tell us more.
UNC's new executive vice chancellor and provost says his priority is simple: engage with students and help push the university forward. Egerstedt, a former engineering dean at the University of California, Irvine, is already hinting at big changes.
I would be disappointed if there aren't engineering programs coming online on this campus, but they're not going to be your grandfather's engineering program.
He says any program would focus on modernizing engineering, connecting the field to healthcare and the arts.
There is so much interesting work to be done in the intersection between healthcare, which we do really well on this campus.
Egerstedt is also addressing tough topics, including changes to international study programs and a shift in funding.
It's really important that we maintain our presence as a sharp global university.
With funding cuts, he says the university will need to rely more on industry partnerships. But for now, he says his focus is on listening.
Right behind me is Egerstedt's office, where the walls are still bare because he just arrived on campus. And he says his priority right now is to make sure student stories are being told and that the university's global reputation continues.
I want students to stop me and take selfies and give high fives because, you know, that's ultimately who I'm here representing and working for.
I'm Kate McCullough, reporting.
Thank you, Kate. Now it's time to transition to other university news.
UNC faculty is now discussing a new class recording policy after Chancellor Lee Roberts temporarily scrapped it last month. At Monday's faculty executive meeting, faculty chair Beth Morocco and other members talked about how to improve the policy. These ways include making it clearer for students what they can and cannot record in class and what the university is allowed to record from professor lectures. They are also discussing whether secret recordings should be allowed. Chancellor Roberts initially scrapped the policy last month because many professors were anxious about it. Faculty Chair Morocco says that so far, the Faculty Executive Council has simplified the language of the policy to create less confusion among professors and students.
So the policy includes some sample language that instructors can include in their course materials that will explain exactly what the expectations are for classroom recordings so that the students will know what those expectations are and they will not inadvertently violate the policy.
Now let's get an international update. About 1,000 soldiers from the U.S. Army's 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg in North Carolina are expected to deploy to the Middle East. The deployment is expected to include command staff and ground forces. The war on Iran is in its fourth week, with the U.S. military relying on fighter jets, bombers, and drones to strike more than 9,000 targets. President Trump says negotiations with Iran are underway.
Gas prices are on the rise, and students who commute to campus are feeling the pressure. I talked to a commuting UNC student, and here's how rising gas prices are impacting her. Higher gas prices are affecting drivers across the area, and students are no exception. Gas prices are climbing across North Carolina, making the drive to campus more expensive for many UNC Chapel Hill students. Filling up used to be a quick stop. Now, it's something some students have to plan for.
That why is it because of the war, or why is it going, high, or, they just don't understand why.
As gas station employees hear questions from customers every day, experts say it really comes down to supply and demand. The conflict in Iran is disrupting oil shipments, and that's pushing the gas prices higher.
So since I have to drive about 30 minutes to campus every day, I'm definitely spending a lot more money than I used to, so I'm going to have to budget differently moving forward.
Students are finding ways to save, like carpooling, driving less, or staying on campus more often. As prices stay high, many students are watching their budgets even more closely. As gas prices continue to rise, students are bracing for higher costs in the weeks ahead. For Carolina Week, I'm Champ Lyerly.
So, Champ, what's next, and when can drivers expect gas prices to go back down?
Well, Maddie, according to UNC Assistant Economics Professor Samuel Higbee, don't expect relief just yet. He says until the Strait of Hormuz reopens and oil can move freely through that important shipping lane, gas prices will continue to keep climbing.
And in university news, test results are in after high levels of lead were found in Carroll Hall. Sinks that previously showed high levels of lead were fixed over spring break by the university's Environment, Health, and Safety Maintenance crew. Follow-up tests haven't detected any lead.
So the dean's office came back after the second testing and it was non-detect. So that was put back in service, that sink. The grad student lounge was still showing elevated levels, so we installed a filter.
And coming up on Carolina Week, it's pollen season in North Carolina, what that means for the coming weeks.
And why airport lines are becoming even longer.
Wait, have y'all seen the new episode of Love Island?
No, we need to put it on now.
I know, I don't want to see any spoilers on Twitter.
Is that blue raz? Can I get a hit? I normally get guava ice, but this is hitting.
I'm gonna go outside and get some air.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. Liam O'Donnell joins us now. Liam, what's ahead with all this pollen? I know a lot of us are definitely feeling it.
Yes, it is certainly the story. Pollen, I feel like I'm in a Coldplay song right now. It was all yellow. It's certainly the story the past few days, and it will continue to be the story. Monday and Tuesday, we had really high levels of pollen. Tuesday, we almost reached over 1,500 pollen particles per cubic meter. That's pretty high, but as we reach into our peak season, it's normally late March into April. Last few years, it's been early April. As we get closer and closer to that, the tree pollen, that's what's making all of this yellow color everywhere you see. It feels like everything is being coated in yellow. That's that tree pollen as we get closer and closer to our peak season. Now, these conditions that are causing this extreme amount of pollen right now is it's windy, dry, and warm weather. That warm weather is going to cause those plants to release that pollen to try and pollinate and spread their seeds. And then that windy and dry is just going to help it spread it around, get those waves of pollen coming off trees and pretty much coat everything in that yellow color. And we're going to continue to see these conditions, especially as we move into the later part of the week. We might see a little bit of a break Friday, as we might see some afternoon showers to kind of soak up that pollen mess. But don't get your hopes too high, excuse me, because Friday it's not really going to be that much of a break. Saturday and Sunday, pollen counts will still continue to be high as we move into the rest of the week. Now, the overall weather outside of the pollen, we're looking pretty warm overall, a little bit on the cooler side as the cold front moves on into the weekend. But as you can see, Wednesday, Thursday, we're warming up from our cool down last few days. Friday, we have a chance of rain. But as we move into the weekend, a cold front comes through overnight Friday into Saturday. But overall, as we move into next week, we'll be warming up and bringing back into those 70-degree weather.
Thank you, Liam. Now, moving into North Carolina politics, the Republican state Senate leader in North Carolina conceded his primary race Tuesday to Rockingham County Sheriff Sam Page. Phil Berger was arguably the most powerful politician in a pivotal swing state, serving in the state Senate for more than a quarter century. A recount last week confirmed Page's narrow 23-vote lead in the March 3rd primary election. Berger conceded after a partial hand recount failed to net any new votes in his favor. His loss came despite an endorsement from President Donald Trump. Analysts say Berger lost some support when he later withdrew a proposal to build a casino in his district.
I've known Senator Berger for many years as a practicing attorney. I knew him as a practicing attorney in the mid-'80s all the way to the present and through his career.
Congress is creeping toward passing a budget for the Department of Homeland Security. We're more than a month into the partial government shutdown, which has left TSA workers without paychecks. Many are calling out of work, and more than 450 TSA agents have quit altogether since the shutdown. The staff shortages are making security lines at airports long, and they could stay that way until the Senate funds the department. The most recent deal proposed funding everything under DHS except parts of immigration and customs enforcement, given recent controversy on new enforcement policies. Trump, though, has said, quote, "Any deal they make, I'm pretty much not happy. So even if Congress is able to get something through, Trump could reject it, like he did to earlier deals."
Food insecurity continues to be an issue impacting too many families, according to local advocates. Our May Proctor spent some time looking at the numbers and what some are doing to raise awareness. May?
Let's jump right into these numbers. These numbers come from Feeding America. As of 2024, 13% of people in Orange County were food insecure. That's roughly 1 in 8 people, just slightly lower than the national average of 1 in 7. Now, in 2026, families have to contend with cuts to SNAP benefits and a rising cost of living. In Orange County, families spend around $920 every month on food. That's according to the North Carolina Budget Center, which is $73 more than the national average of $847. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, we talked with local advocates who told us more must be done to support families struggling with putting food on the table. Dozens showed up to the annual Chapel Hill Carborough Crop Walk over the weekend. I asked those walking why they think it's important to raise awareness.
Now that I'm a bit older and I'm capable of giving, I want to just be more selfless because I know what it was to go through it.
The pitch out to other people, it doesn't have to be a big act, but think about how feeding people could be part of your life.
The crop walk raised over $34,000 that will go to Carborough's chapter of the Interfaith Council and Church World Service.
We've talked a lot about Carolina basketball this morning, but Sports Extra's Emily Breitz is here to tell us about the women's team. They're still dancing.
That's right. After 2 victories this weekend, the Heels have a tough road ahead of them, facing UConn. More on the women's team after the break.
I literally cannot sleep. I hope this is worth it.
I know quitting is worth it. 'Cause I'm worth it.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. It's been a busy past few days for Carolina athletics.
That's right, Champ. With the end of the Hubert Davis era, social media has been flooded with headlines and statements. Current and former players, including Zayden High, Justin Jackson, and Caleb Wilson, have all taken to X to express their appreciation for Davis. Wilson recognized Davis as one of the best men and coaches in his life. However, Elijah Davis, son of former head coach, posted a father-son picture on Instagram with the North Carolina text crossed off his jersey. The men's basketball team aren't the only ones making headlines. Coming off a big win against Maryland, UNC's women's basketball will face undefeated UConn Friday in the Sweet 16 matchup in Fort Worth, Texas. Going into this game, Nyla Harris has proved to be a crucial part in Carolina's success, averaging 11.4 points per game. UNC will be looking for a big game from her on UConn. Completely torched Syracuse, UConn torched them 98-45 to make it to the Sweet 16. The Husky superstar Azzi Fudd had 34 points, tying her career high. Standout forward Sarah Strong is leading her team in points, rebounds, and steals, and looking to be another major threat this weekend. The Tar Heels are facing a significant test against UConn, and tip-off is at 5. After a disappointing year last fall, football is coming into the spring season with plenty of people hoping for a much different outcome. Coming off a 4-8 campaign, the Heels are definitely looking to get back into bowl contention and moving in the winning direction. Led by wide receiver Jordan Shipp and the guidance of Coach Belichick, Carolina is looking to become a CFP caliber team and is ready to prove that the right moves were made. The Heels open the season in Dublin against TCU on August 29th.
You're teaching a different level to some players than you are to others, and so you try to find a little bit of middle ground, but you also have to teach up to your experienced players and also, build the foundation for the players who don't have that experience or that foundation.
The number 13 Diamond Heels traveled to Charlotte last night to take on their southern neighbors in the Battle of the Carolinas at Truist Field. The Gamecocks drew first blood, plating a run in the top of the first. The Tar Heels responded in loud fashion as Gavin Gallagher jumped on South Carolina starter Connor Chicoli, launching a towering 2-run homer to left field. The Tar Heel Arms came out on top, and South Carolina's crumbled in the 7th. It was all about the little things as Owen Hall executed a precise squeeze play to bring home a run, while Macon Winslow and Gavin Gallagher scored on wild pitches, giving UNC 5 runs in the frame. Hull hit his 6th 3-hit day, and the Heels pitch staff dominated 9-1, only allowing 1 run and striking out 14. Next, UNC travels to South Bend to take on number 23 Notre Dame. And women's lacrosse standout Chloe Humphrey is the IWLCA Offensive Player of the Week. The star attack propelled the Heels to a 21-12 win against Boston College on Saturday with a career-high 8 goals and 11 points, despite being face-guarded for much of the match. This is the 3rd time this season Humphrey has clinched the award as she continues to lead the undefeated Tar Heels as the undisputed number 1. Humphrey and the number 1 ranked women's lacrosse team host Northwestern today at 6 p.m. Last season, the Heels took down the Wildcats 12-8. Humphrey had 4 goals and an assist as a freshman redshirt, and Carolina won against the national championship game that was the program's 4th natty under head coach Jenny Levy. But Northwestern will once again be a big test. If you can't make it to Dorrance Field to support the Heels, catch the game on ESPNU at 6 p.m. And lastly, men's golf faced a loaded field in the Valsburg Collegiate Invitational. On day 2, Niall Shells Donegan had the round of his life, shooting a career low of 62. Donegan had 8 straight birdies, notching the 3rd lowest score in program history. Carolina finished in 8th. Tune in to Sports Extra on Friday at 11:30 p.m. for more coverage of all things Carolina athletics, including updates on the men's basketball coaching search.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. Social media is everywhere around us, but now a new lawsuit is raising questions about how these platforms may be affecting young users. Our Holland Bodner has the story.
I would say I spend on social media like about 4 to 5 hours.
Yes, I think the never-ending scrolling feature on all the apps, like that makes it very hard to put down.
Social media can take up hours of the day for many UNC students, and a lawsuit now making its way through court claims it's set up to be addictive and push harmful content to minors. The plaintiff, KGM, the initials of a then minor when the suit was filed. Defendants named TikTok, Meta, Google, and Snap. Snap and TikTok have since entered into settlements.
They're going to need to significantly rethink how their algorithms are structured.
The outcome could redefine the future of social media and who is responsible for its impact.
On platforms that are free on the surface, right, which these are, TikTok is free to sign up for. The thing being sold, right, because there's always something at play in that economy, is your attention.
Some students told us the design itself makes it difficult to look away. Communications researcher Dr. Allison Lazard says that's not a coincidence.
So anything that's driving exposure is going to be influential, because that's what you're seeing every day.
Some students say the effects go beyond screen time.
Even if I opened my phone in a good mood, I would usually get off of it in a worse mood.
Still, not everyone agrees companies should be fully responsible for the effect of hours of scrolling.
I think we all have to hold each other accountable, like your own self accountable too.
All right. And Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg recently testified in court. He said Instagram's algorithm is not intentionally addictive.
And Madeline, do you want to know something else that's some really exciting news?
Tell me.
Well, a mega gas station reportedly broke ground in Mebane this week. That's right, y'all, we're getting a Buc-ee's. The gas station, famous for its beaver-themed snacks and souvenirs and lots of hot brisket, is set to open in late 2027, according to reporting from the News and Observer.
Did you know that besides its snacks, Buc-ee's is recognized for having the cleanest bathrooms in America? Buc-ee's is based out of Texas and has grown in popularity since 2018 when they opened their first location. Now the chain has locations in 11 states with plans for stores in 9 more. Maybe North Carolina will get all 9 of those. Just to give you an idea of just how big Buc-ee's is, this new location is expected to have 200 employees. It's bringing some jobs to the state as well. Have you ever been to a Buc-ee's?
I have. I just recently stopped at a Buc-ee's on my way during my spring break travels last week. Have you?
I've never been. I think I might need to stop by. Do you have a favorite order?
Oh, my favorite order is definitely the pulled pork sandwich and the brisket sandwich. So we're gonna have to plan a trip to go.
All right, I'll have to go try. Yeah, we got to take a trip there. All right, well, that is all for this week's edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.